Hi, everyone. Brad Porter here. My first attempt at LinkedIn video content seemed to go well last week, so I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try to drop a video maybe every Sunday morning. So if you find these compelling, please follow, please like. This will be about a 7 minute video, a little longer this week. I want to talk about AI in China, China robotics. There's been interesting articles in the news this week, So yeah, give a bookmark, give a follow, give a like, and keep tuning in. But the DeepSeek V3 was the big news this week. Seems to be a very capable mixture of experts model, benchmarks very, very well, and kind of impressive claims about how much it costs to train it. I found it a little hard to get into the details. Some of these impressive claims, these really dramatic numbers get a lot of media attention, a lot of social media attention, but sometimes hard to figure out exactly what was being trained. But there's no reason we should believe that China has very, very capable AI scientists and entrepreneurs and leaders. Lesser reported was that O1.ai inked a partnership with Alibaba. It's Kai-Fu Lee's company. Kai-Fu Lee, Microsoft, Apple, Google, world-class technology executive, AI leader. Again, China has very, very, very capable individuals leading impressive initiatives there. And they have an educational system that's producing a lot of very high-quality students and a population of 1.5 billion. And so, many of those being trained in the U.S., many of them working in the U.S., right? And so, anyhow, China is a legit player in the AI world. Robotics as well. And so I've been following robotics in China since 2017. There's an interesting graph that got a lot of play on social media this week, particularly amongst the robotics community, that showed China deployed, the bar was really dramatic looking of how many more robots they deployed in 2022 than the rest of the world. I think, if you dig into the numbers, it was like 270,000 versus like 40,000 for the US. Again, it's a little hard to get to the source on where all these numbers came from and what exactly they're measuring. I have reason to believe that on the ramp that Amazon was on, they deployed well more than 40,000, maybe even in that 200,000 ballpark, just Amazon alone. So, but China clearly has a very capable robotics ecosystem and has been investing in that ecosystem. The government has stated it's an ambition and a priority to be a leader in robotics and has been making moves to do that. I went to China in 2019, went to a 1 million square foot trade show in Shanghai. Fascinating, right? ABB, KUKA, Fanuc, kind of major robotic arm manufacturers were there with huge booths, but there were about 40 other robotic arm companies, Chinese-based companies building very similar products, right? Again, a little hard without digging into the details to understand exactly how capable those arms were. And it was a little head scratching why there were 40 companies. But again, 40 companies, engineers, leaders, like clearly China's been invested in robotics and building the base of talent to be world-class at it. You see that, Unitree's humanoid, their controls work, very impressive. And so we shouldn't count China out in robotics in any way either. I think incredible capability. And then the manufacturing base that China has, we sent some folks from Cobot there this year to meet with suppliers. We're all, some portion of our supply chain is usually tied to componentry coming out of China. And their manufacturing capability is the best in the world, right? And I think we sometimes underestimate the know-how that these Chinese companies, manufacturing suppliers have in just how to even machine parts, very quickly, very high quality, very low cost. And so, impressive supply chain, impressive capability, and it, related. One of the companies I've been following is Geek Plus. Geek Plus I probably met them when they were less than 20 people, super impressive founders, very kind of entrepreneurial, Silicon Valley-like company, move very, very fast. And, a few weeks ago, they announced they'd started the process to file for IPO, the Hong Kong exchange. The stats show that I found one published report that by the end of 2023, they deployed 46,000 robots and it claimed to be the highest revenue producing robotics company in China. 46,000 robots is super impressive. Very similar it's a wider portfolio of robots now, but started out with kind of similar to Amazon's Kiva style robotics solution. And so remember, 46,000 is a lot. Any robotics company would be happy to say they deployed 46,000 robots. But relative to Amazon's 750,000, it's still a drop in the bucket. So there's a huge opportunity for continued expansion in robotics. We have to realize, though, that it is China has a lot of capability here in AI, in robotics, in manufacturing, in the supply chain. And the U.S., we have an amazing entrepreneurial foundation as well. And as Jeff Bezos talked about recently, kind of a great risk capital system to invest behind these things. But the competition is real and it's going to be exciting. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Give a follow, give a like, and leave a comment on what you'd like me to talk about in the future. Thanks.